I was contacted on Reddit by user Ambassador Euphoric21, who told me to check out user msiss006's post history. My interest was piqued, but I didn't expect to fall down such a deep and baffling rabbit hole that can only compare to the Captain Cutch's key lime pies mystery. Let's investigate. If you enjoy internet mysteries, conspiracies and true crime, feel free to subscribe and turn on notifications for more content like this. I also have a Patreon and a PayPal, so if you're interested in supporting the channel, feel free to check those out, links will be in the description. msiss006's real name is Mackie, so we'll stick with that. Let's start with one of his posts on RBI2 on the 20th of August 2021, titled Television Programme Inquiry, which reads, I have a very important inquiry regarding a television programme that I viewed in 2013. Based on the information I have, I am unable to track it on Google. Even though another individual may be able to help me identify the television programme that I saw on cable television, I think it is a startling issue that one cannot track down a television programme or even other forms of media if the details are not sufficient. There are resources for tracking down media, but relying on Google or even another individual could be problematic. There is no official institution for stating that we can track down media based on the information given. How can this problem be solved? This type of situation should not lead to a question that is considered unsolvable. I saw the television programme possibly around 2:34 p.m. The date is unknown but could have been February the 25th or August 16th. The network is unknown along with an unknown channel number. The television programme could have been on the Sci-Fi channel and it was in colour, American and in English. The genre is horror. In one scene there is a woman in a red dress which was short and skin tight, and she was sitting next to a green lamp in a room that was pitch black. The woman was Caucasian and had blonde hair. She resembled Marilyn Monroe. Moments after she appeared on the television screen, she disappeared into thin air, and there was a moan-like voice as she vanished. In the next scene, a man has lockpicks on a keychain and attempts to unlock the door by trying each lockpick on the door while standing next to another woman that is panicking. The door is brown and the room is dark around them, and the room either gets darker or closes in on them. In the third scene, a man with shades gives a woman with shades a weapon and they both leave the room. The room is dark and has a light green hue to it, and there are racks of weapons in the background. In the end credits, a woman is speaking and a man also speaks, and as the credits are rolling, there is a city overlooking a room or a warehouse. Regarding the availability of technology to identify a television programme, if nothing is available, wouldn't that pose a problem if no one is available to answer a question like that? In terms of lost media, how would that type of problem be solved? So there are a few odd details in there. 2:34 p.m. is a very specific time. 25th of February and the 16th of August are also specific dates, yet Mackie doesn't seem sure on any of it. The post certainly could have been worded a bit clearer too. There's a lot of rambling and some sentences just don't quite make sense. But still, it's just a guy trying to identify a scene he remembers from a TV show, right? I mean, yeah, that is the most basic explanation for what's going on here, but let's just say the plot thickens. This isn't Mackie's first post about this scene. In fact, he's been posting on Reddit for more than 2 years now trying to figure it out. He has posted pretty frequently on a variety of subreddits, multiple times, including Ask, Database, TV Details, Movies, Lockpicking, Lost Media, and Ask Reddit. It's definitely not unheard of for Reddit users to repeatedly post the same things, and sometimes it's theorised that this is the work of a bot, but in this case, I'm not really convinced. While other posts revolve around this one scene, and some are cross-posted or copied and pasted, there are many different variations. It's not just 1 or 2 posts spammed everywhere. The post I just read is one of the more detailed examples, but others include more details and some switch up the format such as this one written in second person 9 months ago. You are looking for a movie or television show. You were present in the room August 16th, 2013. It could be 2012, but then you are unsure of the reference. You were trying to find what you saw with a Sprint phone. Your memory is hazy. It was possibly the channel 36, but then you would not guess. The network was the AMC channel. You should go to Google. You are trying to investigate what happened that day. He then goes on to describe the scenes he remembers. Going back to Mackie's first post on r/tip of my tongue in April 2019, he clearly thinks that the scenes are from an episode of Battlestar Galactica. Then I'm guessing he decided it wasn't, or maybe you just couldn't find the scenes, as many of his later posts don't specify that show and ask more generally which show it might have been in. Battlestar Galactica, as well as many other possible shows and even movies, have been suggested over the years, but none seem to quite fit. There have been numerous occasions where it seems that the scenes might have been found, but something just doesn't quite match. On one of Mackie's posts from around a month ago, he replied to one of the comments, "A lot of people think that it is Battlestar Galactica, but for some reason I cannot find the described television programme online." I don't know if he means he can't find the show online, or that he can't find anywhere to watch it. Either way, a few options came up when I googled it, so I don't really know where he's going wrong. We can see from these comments and others that he engages in some conversation with people, always with the sole focus of finding the scenes. This also suggests against it being the work of a bot, because you don't really tend to get bots that have conversations with people. The minuscule amount of progress he has made has taken a long time, and it doesn't ever really get him anywhere, yet that doesn't seem to deter him at all. For example, 11 days ago, he mentioned that he had, quote, finally found a list of television programmes with lockpicking, as if that was the breakthrough or something. After 2 years of searching for these scenes, the biggest development is a list of TV shows with lockpicking in them. Any suggestions people give seem to be added to a list and not actually researched further, and we now have a list of 19 TV shows and 25 movies that could be a match, including Dexter, Desperate Housewives, Lost, Mythbusters, Murder, She Wrote, Mission Impossible 3, Sherlock Holmes, Silence of the Lambs, Watchmen, and even Madagascar, meaning we can't even rule out animated shows or movies. For one of the shows on the list, Castle, he even specifies the season and episode, yet still has no idea whether or not it's a match. 2 years and countless Reddit posts is a lot of effort to go to, but this goes even deeper. Much deeper. I decided to Google Mackie's username and descriptions he often uses in the posts to see if he has posted anywhere else on the internet. As it happens, he has, and I couldn't even tell you the total number of posts he's made, though it must be over 1,000, possibly many more. As for how many different sites he has created accounts on to talk about this, I stopped counting after 25. I found numerous posts on Facebook, Alien Soup, IMDb forums, LinkedIn, AV forums, JustAnswer.com, Quora, lockpicking forums, sci-fi forums, seemingly unrelated blogs and websites, and he even has a whole separate Reddit account that he has posted on between September 2018 and March 2019. You can tell it's all the same person because of the details specified. The usernames are usually some variation of msiss006 or Mackie, and the writing style is quite distinctive. This discovery not only increases the scale of this mystery, but the duration too, as the first post I found was in 2017, 4 years ago. Just like on Reddit, Mackie will sometimes go a couple of months without posting, but he always seems to come back to it eventually. In a Facebook post, Mackie claims that in addition to searching online in different forums and asking people, he also contacted the FCC, Sci-Fi Channel, Cox Cable and other organisations to no avail. It's really quite baffling that he hasn't found it yet. When you combine all the details from the different posts, you get a very specific description. To summarise, Mackie is trying to find a TV show or movie that he saw a few scenes of either in 2012 or 2013, possibly on the 25th of February or 16th of August at around 2:30 PM. It might be American, it's in colour, the genre is sci-fi, horror or thriller, and it may be set on a spaceship. He remembers 4 specific scenes. In the first, a blonde-haired white woman in a red dress, resembling Marilyn Monroe, is sitting cross-legged on a chair or couch that reclines. The room is pitch black, or at least very dark, and when another character enters the room, the woman moans and then disappears. In the second scene, a man, who may be named Harry, fumbles with a set of lockpicks before finding the right one to open the door. There is a woman next to him who might be named Susan, and she is panicking. As they both walk through the unlocked door, the room gets darker and closes in on them. In the third scene, a man wearing shades gives a woman also wearing shades a weapon in a room with a rack of weapons, which has a green hue. Finally, as the credits start rolling, a woman is talking to a man in a warehouse, and a skyscraper can be seen overlooking the warehouse in the background. The ending quote is either, "Whoever is watching us is testing us," or, "This must be an alien encounter of some sort. Whoever was present must be watching us." The name Joe Camry may have appeared in the credits. There's enough detail to make you wonder how on earth Mackie hasn't yet identified this movie or TV show, though he doesn't exactly help himself. He shows reluctance to actually watch the recommended shows to find the scene himself. Even when he's given a specific episode, he will often describe the scene again and say something along the lines of, "If that describes the scene, then it might be it. If this very specific detail is off, then it isn't." And he just leaves it there, then continues asking around. He obviously at least claims to have not found this scene yet, but I've also never seen him reply to a comment saying he watched their suggestion and it turned out not to be a match. Sometimes he just says he's not sure, or if someone makes a few suggestions, he'll say it might be one of those, but gives no indication that he will watch them to find out, and he doesn't respond to some suggestions at all. It's a weird contrast considering how much effort he puts into asking around. It's not like he puts in no other effort either. He did contact various organisations and TV networks, which isn't a bad idea, but some of his other methods do seem misguided and kind of a waste of time, such as him looking for a list of shows that include lockpicking. It doesn't sound like the show was even about lockpicking, it just had one scene that featured it, like thousands of other movies and TV shows, so it hardly narrows down the list. Surely it would make more sense to watch the episodes suggested by others, as they would match more details from Mackie's description, rather than a list of shows that feature lockpicking in one scene. I'm really starting to think that Mackie doesn't want to find the answer, or that something, unbeknownst to us, is preventing him from doing so. He might be misremembering certain details, or remembering scenes or details from 2 or more movies and shows, and merging them into one in his mind. He did acknowledge that was possible in a recent Reddit comment. It seems very likely when you notice that he gets some of the details mixed up. Sometimes he thinks the lady in the red dress is sat next to a green lamp, sometimes the green lamp is in the third scene instead. Sometimes he's not sure of the network, or any actors or characters' names. Other times he says the network might have been AMC channel, and remembers the name Joe Camry in the credits, and 2 characters' names, Harry and Susan. Some details make me wonder if he's thinking of the Cube movies, though it would have to be a combination of at least the first and second film. It's been a while since I watched them, so I can't remember every detail without watching them all again. They're Canadian films, but I at least thought they were American until I just googled it, so maybe Mackie made the same mistake. They're in colour, the genre is sci-fi horror, and it looks like it could be set on a spaceship. In Cube 2, there's a woman wearing a red dress, though I don't remember her disappearing in a dark room. I do recall the walls in 1 or more of the rooms closes in on them, and at least one of the rooms has a green hue. I'm not sure why the 25th of February and the 16th of August stuck in Mackie's mind as dates he may have watched it, but perhaps he watched Cube in February and Cube 2 in August, then unconsciously combined details from both to form the memory he has, possibly even adding in details from other movies. Whether it's Cube or something else, I think the movie or TV show has been identified, and Mackie either doesn't realise or just refuses to admit it for some reason. The most perplexing question I have about all of this, though, is why? Why is Mackie so dedicated to identifying a TV show he watched 8 years ago? God knows how much time he's spent not only posting about this, but probably thinking about it too. I'm sure we've all experienced a similar situation, where we've only caught a few minutes of something on TV, forgotten what it was called, and been minorly annoyed that we can't watch it all at a later date. It wouldn't be unusual to post on a couple of subreddits or forums to see if anyone can identify it from a description, but if not, most people would probably give up, not spend 4 years dwelling on it. Whenever someone asks Mackie why this is so important to him, he just ignores them, leaving us with nothing but theories, only a few at that. Of course there is a chance that Mackie is trolling, or trying to create an internet mystery. I did wonder if he was inspired by the Captain Cutch's key lime pies mystery. It is quite similar in terms of there being so many different posts on various sites for a long period of time. But I don't think that became too popular until after he already started posting. I remember hearing about the key lime pies mystery quite a few years ago, but it didn't really blow up until 2018, judging by Google Trends and YouTube videos on it. It wouldn't really make sense for Mackie to spend so much time copying a mystery which, at the time, wasn't all that well known. It's only in the last couple of weeks that Mackie has been mentioned anywhere but his own posts, and 4 years is a long time to keep this up for no payoff. The same points can be used to argue against the idea that he might just be trying to create a mystery in general or trolling. It's a lot of effort to go to for next to no attention. Another thing that makes me think Mackie isn't a troll is the fact that he used what seems to be his real Facebook account to post about the show. Not to mention his LinkedIn account, which publicly shows where he lives and his employment. I don't know why he'd want his name and identifying information associated with an attempt at trolling or creating a mystery. The only exception would be if he wanted his name out there as some form of promotion for something, like one of the theories we covered in the Maurice Harper video, where he might have been trying to promote his music. Mackie doesn't appear to have anything to promote though. Looking at his Facebook, he has posted multiple referral links to one of those sites that pays you money to take surveys, but they only go back as far as July this year, so that can't be it. It's not even like he's consistently used one name. Sometimes he uses his real name, or some variation of msiss, but there are others that you wouldn't initially link to him if you didn't see his posts. Taking all that into consideration, I still don't know exactly why he's doing this, but I don't think there is an ulterior motive. I considered that it might just be a kid with way too much time on their hands. That would explain the not so advanced sentence structure and formatting, but I've seen information to suggest that Mackie is around 35 years old. The most plausible explanation seems to be that Mackie might be suffering with some kind of mental illness or condition that is causing him to obsess over this memory. The amount of time he has spent trying to find these scenes could be classed as hyperfixation, a symptom of various conditions including ADHD and autism. Hyperfixation is not commonly listed directly as a symptom of disorders such as bipolar and schizophrenia, though I did find quite a few discussions online in relevant communities between people who have been diagnosed with one of those disorders and believe that hyperfixation is a symptom for them. This post I found on the bipolar subreddit is from a user who tends to fixate on fictional characters, and the fixation can last over a year. This is anecdotal, and 4 years is much longer than 1 year, but it certainly seems a plausible explanation. In some cases, hyperfixation can be a type of coping mechanism or a distraction, so maybe Mackie suffered some kind of trauma and developed an obsession with this movie or TV show to help him deal with it. Maybe the fixation spiraled, and the more time he spent trying and failing to identify the show, the more determined he became. A couple of weeks ago, there was a post on the Nexpo subreddit about Mackie's obsession with the scenes he remembers, and one of the comments suggested this theory. I think because of the obsessive nature and the specific time listed, OP could be stuck in a trauma-induced thought loop, or like a mild psychosis from an overwhelming trauma that occurred. This may have been what they were watching when that thing happened, before or afterwards, etc. I'm not a professional by any means, but I have seen this before. I'm not a professional either, and I couldn't find much information online about such a specific kind of loop. Maybe I'm just not phrasing it right, but I'm sure I've heard of something like that before. If you know any more about this, please feel free to elaborate or correct me in the comments. If that comment was correct, it seems plausible that something also happened in 2017 to trigger this obsession with finding the show. Unless Mackie has been posting since before that, but 2017 is the earliest post I found, so why did he wait 4 years to start looking? Looking at Mackie's Facebook, there are no obvious signs of anything happening around 2017, though I don't have him as a friend, so there probably are posts that aren't public. He's been married since 2011, and I wonder if his wife is even aware of this fixation. You'd think he would have discussed it with her, but she might not know he's been posting online about it so much. If Mackie is autistic or has ADHD, for example, they can improve in adulthood or at various times in life, but they are lifelong conditions. If he experienced a sudden onset of this symptom, that might hint more towards bipolar or schizophrenia, in which case you'd think his wife would try to get him help. That's if they're even still together. His bio still says that he is married, but I wonder if they broke up and maybe that's what sparked all this. But that's totally just a random guess. Either way, it seems that Mackie is not isolated from people who care about him, so if he does need help, I hope they lead him to get it. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with my theory or do you have a better one? If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Huge thank you to my patrons whose names are on screen now. I really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Thursday in a new video.